just landed. Chaos erupts as Jungkook and Jimin face shocking incident at LAX. What really happened? It should have been a routine arrival, but within seconds of stepping into the arrival hall of Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, two of the world's most recognizable music icons, BTS's Jungkook and Jimin, found themselves at the center of a disturbing and unexpected incident. The question remains, how did an ordinary touchdown escalate into a scene of confusion, panic, and potential security breach? The drama unfolded in the second week of July 2025. As BTS's Jungkook and Jimin landed in Los Angeles for what was believed to be a mix of personal downtime and undisclosed professional engagements, the atmosphere at the terminal took a sudden and troubling turn. Observers and media personnel, who had been positioned in anticipation of the duo's arrival, did not expect the explosive scene that followed. The tension began to rise moments after the two idols emerged into the public zone of the airport. Reports from both eyewitnesses and embedded South Korean journalists on the scene describe a volatile and disorganized environment, where an unusually large number of unauthorized individuals appeared to have foreknowledge of the star's itinerary. This raises a chilling question. Who leaked their flight information, and for what purpose? The immediate concern that surfaced wasn't merely the presence of aggressive paparazzi or overly zealous fans. Instead, it was the visible distress of the artists and the disarray among the assigned security personnel, both from the artists' private security detail and the local authorities at LAX. Multiple sources confirmed that the situation escalated when airport security officials reportedly prevented Jungkook and Jimin from reuniting with their own security team just meters from the arrival gate. The confrontation, while brief, was enough to send ripples through online platforms and reignite serious discussions about the international management of K-pop artist protection. The footage that quickly spread across social media depicts a visibly shaken Jimin, clinging to Jungkook as the two navigate through an uncontrolled crowd. Jungkook, attempting to shield his fellow member, appears to exchange sharp words with an officer before being ushered forward in a completely different direction than initially planned. The resulting chaos led to confusion not just for their team, but for airport staff as well. Panic surged when one segment of the terminal was temporarily closed due to what was described by airport officials as a security miscommunication. But for fans and media experts alike, the term failed to encapsulate the gravity of what had occurred. This was no mere miscommunication. It was a breach, both in logistics and trust. And the bigger question persists. Was this incident truly a result of negligence, or was it orchestrated, fueling further suspicion? South Korean outlet Dispatch reported days prior to the arrival that internal data concerning BTS's travel plans may have been leaked. This wasn't speculation. It was supported by multiple indirect confirmations from within the industry. The suspicion that someone external to HYBE, possibly even from within affiliated logistical companies, had disseminated private travel information has opened a potential scandal that could rock the K-pop world yet again. What stands out most in this ordeal is not only the emotional and physical vulnerability of the two idols involved, but the astonishing lack of proactive crisis mitigation at one of the busiest airports in the United States. If even global celebrities such as Jungkook and Jimin are left exposed to this level of chaos, what does that imply for the broader safety of traveling public figures? While the Los Angeles International Airport authorities released a generic statement affirming that all protocols were followed, this has done little to satisfy growing public outrage. The statement ignored the fundamental issue. Why was there physical obstruction between the artists and their designated protection? And how did unauthorized individuals manage to congregate at a restricted area before the arrival had even commenced? American media outlets began picking up the story almost immediately. TMZ reported alleged confrontations between Jungkook's entourage and airport security, suggesting the team attempted to prevent invasive photography. However, this was contradicted by South Korean reporters present at the scene, who claimed that certain members of the paparazzi had already breached no-access zones before the idol's arrival, a claim that, if confirmed, could spark a legal investigation. IN South Korea. Major outlets including Newson and JTBC followed up with analysis pointing toward a more systemic issue: an international vulnerability in safeguarding Asian celebrities compared to their Western counterparts. The disparity in treatment between Eastern and Western celebrities, particularly at global transit hubs, has never been more evident. For years, artists like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber have enjoyed VIP protocols that prevent such public exposure. Why was similar accommodation not arranged for two of Asia's biggest global exports? The online backlash was immediate and powerful. Fans from all over the world expressed collective outrage, but what hit the hardest was the circulating footage of Jimin's expression, a mixture of confusion, fear, and discomfort, captured in a still image that quickly became a symbol of the incident. In the image, he clutches Jungkook's arm tightly, visibly unsettled by the mayhem. For millions of fans, it wasn't just a moment of discomfort. It was a jarring reminder of the relentless scrutiny BTS members endure, even when off-duty. Jungkook, known for his calm public demeanor, later addressed fans briefly through Weverse, stating, "We're okay, but something has to change." This single sentence, short and understated, ignited further debate. Many interpreted it as a subtle indictment of not just the airport protocols, but of the systems meant to protect artists at this level of fame. Jimin has remained silent since the incident, with reports suggesting that he is recovering privately at a temporary residence in Beverly Hills. He has canceled all external appearances for the time being, a move fans believe underscores the psychological toll the incident may have had. Internally, HYB is said to be reevaluating every layer of their logistical and security systems. Yet critics argue that the agency's reaction is too late and too passive. This is not the first time HYB has been caught off guard. Past incidents involving BTS's personal security during international travel have been documented by fans for years, but never has the system's inadequacy been so publicly exposed. From a business standpoint, the repercussions may go beyond public relations. HYB's shares dropped by nearly 4% within 24 hours after the incident was widely reported. Analysts attribute the dip not only to the viral spread of the event, but to growing investor skepticism regarding the company's operational oversight during solo and group schedules abroad. In parallel, academics and cultural commentators are beginning to weigh in. Professor Lee Ji-yeon of Korea University's School of Media and Communication stated in a public seminar that the LAX incident is emblematic of a broader issue in the globalization strategy of Korean entertainment firms. "There is a structural disconnect," she said. "In Korea, celebrity protection is robust and meticulously planned. Abroad, we see a dangerous reliance on third-party coordination that lacks cultural sensitivity and preparedness." This sentiment resonated online, especially among international fans, many of whom questioned why Jungkook and Jimin were not afforded the same level of privacy and protection as Western celebrities of equivalent stature. "We're not asking for special treatment," one fan wrote on a widely shared post on 1X. "We're asking for basic human dignity and safety for people who have done nothing but share their art with the world." Fueling the public's growing anxiety are rumors, still unverified, that a rival entity in the global entertainment sphere may have had a role in leaking BTS's flight data. While no evidence has surfaced to support this theory, its emergence reflects a climate of increasing distrust and competitive tension in the global music industry. Above all, the most haunting consequence of this ordeal is its emotional impact. For years, fans have watched BTS evolve from hopeful trainees into the world's biggest musical group. Their rise has been marked not just by achievements, but by the way they've handled pressure with humility and discipline. To see Jimin and Jungkook, two pillars of that journey, visibly overwhelmed and unprotected during a simple arrival is more than troubling. It's devastating, as the dust settles. Key questions remain unanswered. Will HYB take substantive action, or will this event be filed away as another regrettable mishap? Will American transit authorities revisit their policies concerning high-profile non-Western celebrities? Most urgently, How will Jungkook and Jimin recover from an incident that shook not only their physical sense of safety, but their emotional well-being? What was meant to be just another quiet trip to Los Angeles has become a defining moment, an unsettling snapshot of the vulnerabilities that global icons still face, even at the height of their careers. And while their talent and dedication remain beyond question, the same cannot be said of the systems surrounding them. Until full accountability is taken and real protections are guaranteed, fans and observers alike will continue to ask, how could this have happened? And how can it be allowed to happen again? The aftermath of LAX incident, an invitation to reflect, question, and discern the truth in the wake of the highly publicized incident involving BTS members Jungkook and Jimin at Los Angeles International Airport. The global conversation has taken a complex and, at times, disconcerting turn. Emotional responses continue to flood digital platforms, with fans expressing outrage, concern, and profound empathy. Yet, beyond the emotional turbulence lies a more urgent imperative: critical inquiry. Are we, as informed observers, truly prepared to confront the full spectrum of possibilities that surround this event? More crucially, do we possess the discernment to separate verified fact from manipulated fiction? The videos, photographs, and testimonies circulated across social media platforms such as TikTok, Twitter, now X, YouTube, and several media outlets have painted a vivid portrait of confusion and distress. But one must pause and ask, are these materials indisputable representations of reality, or are they fragments of a larger narrative shaped to evoke specific emotional responses? Have we become passive recipients of information, or are we actively evaluating the credibility, context, and intent behind every media presentation? This incident, while undoubtedly resonant, must not be consumed without rigorous scrutiny. The images of Jimin appearing visibly unsettled and Jungkook seemingly entangled in an exchange with security personnel have been presented as evidence of systemic failure. However, do these visuals alone confirm the existence of a security breach, or have we perhaps interpreted them through a lens already colored by collective fear, bias, and past grievances? It is essential to question whether this narrative, widely shared and emotionally potent, emerges from a foundation of truth or a framework constructed for viral dissemination. Could it be that the intensity of our reaction is being shaped not by verified events, but by the deliberate amplification of ambiguity? Who benefits from the global virality of this moment? Are we witnessing the exposure of institutional negligence, or are we unknowingly participating in the propagation of a calculated spectacle? These questions are not posed to diminish the lived experiences of the artists involved, nor to invalidate the emotional responses of millions. Rather, they are meant to challenge us to adopt a posture of intellectual vigilance. It is worth considering that much of the information surrounding this incident remains unverified. Multiple accounts contradict each other, timelines are unclear, and sources remain largely anonymous. What then is the standard by which we determine credibility in such circumstances? Moreover, one must consider the possibility that the event, whether real, exaggerated, or manufactured, serves a broader strategic function. In an era where visibility equates to capital, could the proliferation of this story serve the interests of media platforms, public relations agendas, or even corporate stakeholders? Has the audience been positioned as both consumer and instrument of a carefully curated narrative? The suspicion of data leaks, internal sabotage, and international security failures carries immense weight. But without concrete evidence and formal investigations, does repeating such theories reinforce accountability or merely distract from more pressing truths? When articles, posts, and videos from varied sources blend conjecture with assertion, are we equipped to distinguish between documentation and dramatization? It is precisely at this intersection of virality and ambiguity that the need for critical reflection becomes paramount. As consumers of information in a hyper-connected world, we are constantly presented with data that appears factual but may, in truth, be constructed to serve particular interests. What is the role of the media in shaping perception? Are we being informed or influenced, manipulated or enlightened? This event, if anything, offers a sobering opportunity to reassess the ways in which we interact with information. How often do we verify sources before accepting headlines as truth? How frequently do we investigate beyond the initial emotional reaction? Do we allow our admiration for public figures to cloud our judgment, or do we hold all narratives, regardless of their origin, to the same standard of critical analysis? We must confront the possibility that what we perceive as spontaneous might be orchestrated, that what appears genuine could be staged. Are we willing to consider that this entire episode might be a media construct designed to captivate, distract, or even manipulate? Conversely, are we also open to the fact that dismissing such an incident as sensationalism might silence legitimate concerns about the safety and dignity of artists? Therefore, we urge every reader, every viewer, and every fan not to surrender their reasoning to sensationalism. Instead, let us collectively engage in disciplined skepticism. Let us investigate, verify, and question every detail, not as an act of doubt, but as an act of intellectual integrity. In light of the current media environment, the pursuit of truth is no longer a passive endeavor. It is an obligation. It requires us to challenge convenient narratives, to resist emotional manipulation, and to insist on evidence over speculation. Do you, the reader, believe this event reflects an unfiltered reality? Or has it been shaped, intentionally or otherwise, by the mechanisms of attention economy and media theatrics? Are you satisfied with the evidence you have been shown, or do you demand more? This is not merely a story about two artists caught in a moment of chaos. It is a test of our ability to perceive the truth in a time when truth itself is often curated. The responsibility lies not just with agencies, security teams, or media outlets. It lies with you. In closing, we invite you to reflect deeply, critically, and continuously. Do not allow your empathy to override your discernment. Do not permit the power of narrative to obscure the necessity of verification. Only through skepticism, inquiry, and intellectual rigor can we approach the truth with the seriousness it demands. Thank you.